Hello and welcome to the Can I Retire Now podcast with your hosts, Nick Russell and Becky Wagoner. I'm your podcast producer, RJ Malik. Nick and Becky, I see you both are ready for another great podcast. So Nick, why don't you start off and tell us what you and Becky will be discussing on this edition of the Can I Retire Now podcast?
Welcome back to Can I Retire Now? I'm Nick Russell. That's my lovely wife, Becky Wagoner. Hey, babe.
Good day.
Good day. Today's episode, we're going to call, and I'm going to see if I can say this correctly, because Becky, in her typical punny fashion, named this ROI, I can't do this. What's it called?
ROImance.
ROImance. So return on investment in love and money. Oh boy. My favorite two things, our love and money. So today we're going to talk about joining finances. I actually was just recently listening to another podcast, and someone had called in and asked a question like, "Oh, well, how do you handle it when you get married? Do you just join finances with the other person?" And the advisor just, "Yeah, you do." And she's like, "I don't understand what that means, and I don't understand how that works." And it kind of listening to him talk to her was it just resonated with me because it seemed obvious, but it was interesting to hear her viewpoint because it didn't inherently make sense to her as like, well, what if one of us makes more income than the other? What if this? What if that? So I thought worth talking about. We've been married a few years now, and
Yeah, and Valentine's Day, everyone's
yeah,
thinking about love, so
you
why
know,
not complicate it with money?
yeah, that's every Valentine's Day should talk about money. I don't know.
No,
We'll
no,
make.
yeah.
But I think it's obviously something as you're in relationships with people, and relationships are complicated. We're married. We've both been married once
Yeah,
before.
so
There's a few people in our immediate lives that we know are either getting divorced or are joining households but not getting married because they're a little later in life and financially it makes more sense not to be married, but they're sharing finances. So I thought a really interesting topic to discuss this time of year.
all right.
Um,
So how to be in love and have joint finances.
Money can be a stressful thing. Being in a relationship, as wonderful it is, can create some friction.
Mm-hmm.
So let's soften this up a little to make it easier for people. So let's talk about joining finances, what that looks like.
Do you recommend it?
100%. 100%, no
Okay.
doubt in my mind. If you're in a relationship with somebody like we are, I'll use our relationship as an example.
Committed long term. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully I am.
I mean, that's what the
This would be
papers
a weird time to bring up that you're sort of like, oh, I'm still testing it out. In my experience of the people that I've worked with, interacted with, I mean, at this point in my career, I've probably interacted with, I don't know, 5,000 couples.
Wow.
Yeah. I actually tried to put a number to it the other day, and it's a lot. Not necessarily all the people I work with, but, and this really targets the people I've met with that I didn't elect to work with. Um, there are a lot of couples that, for whatever reason, don't join finances. Those people are far less successful financially than the ones that join finances. Yeah.
Wow.
Whenever I meet a couple who, oh, we've been together for 10 years, we never joined our finance, we do everything separate. I can't put a number to it, but I'd be shocked if they have 10% of the amount of money saved that a couple that
Seems
share the finances.
extreme.
No, it's insane. So I want to talk about like what joint means, as simple as that
Yes.
is,
What does that mean to
and then
you?
some of the pieces why not sharing those finances
When
doesn't work.
Yeah,
Like
when you shouldn't
yeah,
necessarily join
yeah.
things. Okay.
So
All right, Nick.
joining finances,
Tell me about it.
we did it. Open up a joint account, right?
Yes.
So let's start with bank accounts. Joint
Mhm.
bank account. So even in our case,
Mhm.
where we'd been married before, you had your money, I had my money. We met in our 30s, 20s, 30s. How old were you? God, you don't look a day
So
past
young.
27.
I don't
It's hard to
remember.
imagine that you're actually 56 years old.
Whoa.
No, okay. But a joint bank account. So I don't care if you keep a personal bank account. I have. It's the same account I had since I was 9 years old.
Yes.
I have money in there literally just to buy you gifts so you don't see how much I pay for them.
Oh, I mean, I kept one bank account, but it is like so inactive. The bank was like, "Yeah, you don't need a debit card,
Yeah.
but we'll keep your money."
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that makes sense. But soon as we moved in together, what did? We opened up a joint bank account,
Mhm.
and part of our paychecks both went in that bank account in order to
Yes.
pay what now are joint bills.
Mhm.
Joint bills are home
Actually, our whole
utilities.
paychecks.
Yeah, actually,
I
you're
think we
right.
had to start actively thinking, yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
our
And
whole
then I
paycheck.
actually
Yeah.
started to I carved out like a couple
Yeah.
bucks a month
Yeah.
just to for that stuff. Because realistically, it's not mine and yours. It's ours. Everything is we.
Yeah. So at that point, when you have committed to being we, then you need to
Commit to being we.
commit to being our money.
Yeah,
And
it is our money.
yes.
And I don't care. You left the workforce other than the podcast here and 5 years ago now.
Yes.
Wow. Happy anniversary.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's not my income. No, haven't earned income. It's our income.
You are so good about that.
Yeah, but that's the
So,
way it should be. It doesn't
yes.
matter if you make more money than I do, or I make more money than you do, or we make the same amount. It's our income, it's our bills. And by the way, if you're with someone that you don't think having a joint bank account and having joint bills makes sense, there's a problem.
Or you don't trust
You don't trust
them.
that person, that's not someone to marry. I'm not going to give marriage advice, but that's not someone
Just
to marry.
examine that
Yeah, think about
separately.
it. How about that? Think about that. Talk to your preacher, your pastor, and your therapist.
Mhm.
But so I like joint bank accounts, right? A
Okay.
joint bank account serves a lot of purposes. One, functionally, all the joint bills are being paid out of that, right?
Yes.
All the bills. So you both have access to it. You both can view it. Immediately, there's accountability. So if you wind up being a crazy spender out of nowhere and I never expected it,
Mhm.
well, now I can look at the bank account and see it.
Mhm.
And it's not to like create friction in a relationship, but it's to make sure you're both on the same page. Because
Which
if
is important in a
oh
relationship.
my God, yeah, you
Yeah.
should be on the same page about your beliefs, about how you handle money, about how you raise children,
Mhm.
about if you want children or not. I mean, those are big topics
And
that
money isn't
money's huge.
equally as big.
Money's still the number one reason people get divorced.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
just the awareness level of both being able to see it I think is worth it in itself.
Mhm.
But you also both then get to view it, have an opinion, and go, "Oh, I didn't realize we were paying this much for our car insurance. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and price out, see if we can get something cheaper."
Mhm.
Great. Then now you're both, being able to touch that and be
Yeah.
aware of it. Um, Names on assets. So when we got married,
Mhm.
I owned some investment property already.
Mhm.
Um, Now, once we got married,
Yep.
you didn't automatically
Get added to those
get added
deeds.
to
I
those.
did not.
That's not how it works.
No.
Those are premarital assets. So, let's say, in our case, you had a child when we got married, but let's say it was flipped and I had
Mhm.
the child, and something happened to me.
Mhm.
My child would get those assets, you would not,
Yep.
right? So one of the first things we did then was to go do our estate planning
Mhm.
and make sure that all the titling of the assets that we have, whether it's rental property, investment assets, were aligned with the fact that we were married.
Yes. And so in some cases that's not adding me to the deed, but it
Correct.
is making me the primary beneficiary on those things.
Exactly.
So talk to an estate planner or depending on what it
Depending
is,
on the asset.
how that
Yeah.
would work best because but it needs to reflect that you are married.
Yeah. Don't be lazy. That's something that's really important. And by the
It'll
way,
cost you money later on.
if you both have access to all the accounts, let's think about like a really ugly scenario where um, I have an account and I change the beneficiary to someone other than you.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, I
I
should be able to log in and see
You should
that.
be able to log in and check that.
Yeah.
And part of your financial planning review with your financial advisor, once a year, we do a beneficiary check
Mhm.
just to make sure everybody still has everybody they want as their beneficiaries because people, change their
Yeah.
opinions and
So
stuff.
share logins and
Sure.
passwords for all the
Absolutely.
accounts.
Yeah. Because what are you hiding?
Wow.
What are,
It's getting real
well, let's be honest.
cutthroat real quick. But it's true. It's
Yeah.
true. If you
I,
can't share logins and passwords and phone passwords, I
yeah.
mean, think about the bigger picture there.
Okay. So I'll give you the other side of that for people that are like, well, it's none of your business. My phone I use for business. I
Yeah.
have a lot of client secured, but a lot of client contact information within apps with behind security within apps, right? So I can actually argue, I think, the other side and say, well, you shouldn't have open access to everything on my phone because some of that's private
Well,
client
I don't.
information.
Yeah.
But that's what? Very few people. That's
But I can log into your phone if I needed to.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know the
yeah. But
password
I
and all
can't
of
log
that.
into those things. So
And then my personal bank account, maybe there's $5,000 in that. And
yeah.
I literally only use that when I want to buy you something and I don't want you to see that I bought something before you get it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not talking about epic amounts of our net worth.
Yeah.
And so I think, again, in a relationship, if you're already with somebody, you got to have these conversations. But if you're thinking about joining forces, whether that's marriage, just sharing finances,
Mhm.
that's something that's important.
Yeah, for sure, because it speaks to a bigger commitment.
Yeah.
So
Other examples of where I could take the other side
okay.
is exactly our scenario.
Yeah.
You were married once before.
Yes.
Our daughter she's my stepdaughter.
Mhm.
Her dad
Mhm.
still in the picture. It's great. But in divorces, especially with like child support and alimony and those types of
Yeah,
things,
and that's why I kept a separate account. So
having a separate account makes perfect sense. First of all, while you're single, even I think that legally
yeah,
makes a lot of sense. It keeps whether let's say it's child support, that money goes into an account, then you can you can have expenses for the
yeah,
child out of that account.
because
It
then
makes
it was
things
no questions asked. Money is going where it's supposed to go
for the
for
child.
the child.
And then when we got married, it just complicates that a little. So you keep it in a separate account. There's never, honestly, it's very much, now that I think about it, like a business.
Mhm.
I don't commingle Sunrise money with our personal money.
No.
Sunrise has their own bank account. Pay all the Sunrise bills out of that. We keep our stuff separate. Keeping it separate in that case makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
I was still fully aware of it. You didn't hide that from me.
No. You could
But I think in that example, it kind of makes sense. You can argue
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
Um, so I mentioned how people with joint finances compared to people that don't share their finances. I can't stress enough how much of an epic difference it makes.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is just trust, I think, which is a big thing in a relationship, but a lot of it's awareness.
And communal goals.
Yeah, because if you're working towards the same things,
Mhm.
if let's say you have a goal this year of putting away $10,000 for a big vacation that you want to take in 2027. Well, the only way you're going to hit that goal is by saving money every month
Together.
together. So if you see the money every month, leave the checking account, go to the savings account, go to the vacation fund every month, not only are you both being held accountable, you can celebrate that. You can
Yeah.
be happy about it instead of it being a stressful thing potentially.
So how often do you recommend partners check in on these kinds of accounts?
I wind up looking at our bank account a couple times a week, right? I
Yes.
look at it a couple times a week just to make sure there's no like goofy, charges or this or that. And if I see something on there that I don't know what it is or seems larger than necessary or something weird, I talk to you about it immediately.
Mhm.
I think when we got together, did we start monthly going over
Yeah.
kind of our expenses?
Monthly just expenses and account
And
balances.
just kind of looking down and making sure that like, oh, if you always have about $20,000 in your checking account left over at the month, and all of a sudden the next month it's at 12,
Yeah.
well, something happened. So
Mhm.
let's not wait a year to figure out what
Yeah.
happened.
Exactly.
So monthly is really good if you're just starting out.
Just to review and
Yeah,
look at
just like
things. Make
cursory.
sure you're just checking it out. Yeah.
Yeah. And we do it quarterly now.
For
Um,
checking accounts, daily kind of accounts. And
yeah.
then for bigger accounts like IRA retirements and those kind of things.
Well, and that should be part of your review with your financial advisor,
So
right?
annually.
So annually and a lot of advisors meet with their clients annually. In some cases, I meet with clients twice a year.
Mhm.
In some more complex situations, I meet with my clients quarterly.
Yeah.
So if they never talk about it at home, I make them talk about it.
Yeah, and it's also a good chance to do my least favorite thing, which is check all the logins and passwords and
God.
make sure both people know all the logins and passwords. And it's a miserable 3 hours in our house because
Yeah.
um I don't like those things. And
It's not the
so
sexiest thing we do as a couple.
no, so you sit there and you're like, "Ugh, okay, what accounts?" It makes you acknowledge every single account you have. It makes you acknowledge that you have logins and both of you know what they are and the passwords still work. Um, And a year is more frequently than so many people do this once a year.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
How many times do you need to like log into your electric company's website? Not very often, but when you do, you want to be able to log in.
Yeah.
And if all of a sudden there's no way, if you're thinking about it right now, do you know your login and password for your utility company website?
I do.
No.
I was there yesterday, but
Oh, there you go. See, we got one.
but see, that's me. That's
Yeah.
not you. So Nick needs to know. But so it works both ways. So
Yeah. And I think having a system where you keep all of those, the scrap piece of paper, the post-it notes, you know, have it all in one place. There's a bunch of services now that are encrypted that you can save that. You both have access to it. We even use systems like that here at the office because we have so many logins and passwords. It's encrypted, but the people in the office know the password updates, and it keeps all that login information saved for us because there's no way I would remember all of that.
So we've been talking a lot about how partners, spouses should commingle accounts. What about children?
Children. So I think obviously when the kids are young, I'm a big proponent of teaching kids about how money works.
Yeah.
I talked to our daughter about it. I talked to her friends about it. They asked me questions about it. Everybody's getting their driver's license now and cars, and they're like, oh, this is great, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, let's talk about car insurance. Let's talk about how much speeding tickets cost and
Gasoline, filling up the
gas.
tank. Yeah.
And, just so you're aware. But I think as you age and you have
And it's your job to take care of those things for a kid, right? So through college, a lot of people, have a bank account and they put money in it for their kid to spend from. And that is great. I mean, that's what parents are there to support. But at what point do we start weaning off the parental deposits into those bank accounts?
I'm thinking of an age, and I'll let you think of an age. We didn't prep this.
Okay.
So think of an age where you would cut our daughter off of those things. And we're going to say it at the same time.
Well, I have more of like a milestone than a specific age, but I'll pick an age. Okay, go ahead.
1, 2, 3. 22.
Yeah. For me, it is.
By the way, guys, relationship goals right there. We didn't. But that ideally 22 is when she'll graduate college, right?
So
she
that
goes
was
to grad
the
school.
milestone.
Yeah,
was graduate from college. And there's going to be exceptions. Health insurance can be a thing until 26.
Sure.
But if they have been set up and have the necessary tools to earn an income and or the age, I mean, at that point, they're completely legal in every sense.
Yeah.
They should shoulder the burden and learn that young, I think.
And I've probably shared this, but my senior year of college, and you earned every you got paid to go to college. She is so smart. I worked throughout college, and my senior year, I delivered pizzas for Papa John's. And I remember I had to do a tax return that year. It was the first time I ever did a tax return because I made almost $5,000 that year delivering pizza for Papa John's. Think about that. I made $5,000. I paid my rent. I paid my bills. Yeah, I didn't have as many bills as I did the next year when I got my first job. But let's say your first job is, for easy math, you make $50,000. Yeah, you have other expenses and things, and rent's a little higher. Maybe you don't have roommates and blah, 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 blah. But immediately 1 year later, you're making 10 times the amount of money.
Yeah.
How can you not pay your bills? And by the way, and save and build up your reserves and all of that?
Why do you need to tap your parents?
Exactly. And the moment as a parent you start to help and let them have an expectation that money will be coming their way every month, we know plenty of scenarios where kids are in their 30s, 40s. I'm in my 40s. I've owned my own business for 20 years, right? That kids are still dependent on their parents, or the parents emotionally feel like
I'm just going to drop this $5,000 in your bank account every month. And it's such a slippery slope because you should be saving for retirement.
Yeah, you should be saving for yourself. And I tell clients this all the time, and any client watching this knows this. I say, my priority is you, the client, who hired me to take care of you, to make sure you hit your goals.
Yep.
If your goal is to make sure your kids are well off and you struggle, then I'll help you work towards that. But that's not anybody's goal.
No.
People want to make sure they're taken care of. And I don't want to sound crude. I will always take care of our daughter, but I will do it when it's necessary. She needs to learn how to survive on her own as an adult when she gets there,
Mm-hmm.
because that's going to be her future. She will, God willing, outlive us.
Mm-hmm.
We will not be there to just feed her every day and make every decision for her. She should. Part of parenting is allowing your kids to be independent.
Yeah, that's the goal of parenting, actually.
Yeah, I think,
So,
right? And
yeah.
so I like the idea of providing them a lifestyle better than what you had growing up. Grew up pretty low income, both of us, and
Yeah.
we want to provide our daughter a better lifestyle. But I think a better lifestyle comes with
The
better
education.
knowledge.
Yeah. And the experience. So you got to, I mean, it's not like a cliff at 22, but
No, but there
it
should be
needs,
some expectation.
yeah.
Like, I'll pay for the car payments now and maybe until the car's paid off, but I had to pay my insurance and gas when I was in college.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so there's a bill I never had before. I had to pay for my cell phone. There was a bill I never had,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like
Mm-hmm.
there's ways to say, okay, now this 19-year-old has $100 month commitment, right? And I don't care. You could take that money and just put it in an investment account for them, right?
Yeah.
And pay their cell phone
But don't
bill.
keep paying off their credit card bill and all
No,
that stuff.
they'll never
So,
learn. They'll never learn.
so what about the opposite is aging parents, and kids adult children that may want to be aware of their parents' finances. And when does that get out of hand?
Okay. So this is a tough one for me
Yeah, it's nuanced.
because we have a program that we offer to clients for free that allows access for identity theft monitoring it was originally designed for aging parents, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that the child could be aware of what's happening with their finances and identity theft potential issues. I think it's important for kids to have a general understanding of where their parents financially stand, right?
After they retire,
Oh yeah,
or
we're
yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
retirement.
Mm-hmm.
Like mom's in her 70s, your dad's in his 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, there should be some knowledge base. Hiding that from your kids until the day you die, to let it just unveil, to be like, oh, they had 100 grand of debt that now we have to take care of.
Yeah.
That would have been easier to take care of 5 years ago if we knew about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a level of sharing that helps, right?
Okay.
And I work with multi-generational families where I
Mm-hmm.
work with well, now they're considered grandparents, parents, and kids.
Yeah.
And having like a family meeting, a family general understanding helps.
Okay.
To counter that, though, we have an example in our kind of outside of our circle, but kind of
Yeah.
adjacent to our circle, where we know of an aging parent whose kids are greedy little turds.
Adult children.
Adult children, by the way,
Yeah.
like our age, and are basically just trying to bleed the parent dry,
Mm-hmm.
and do whatever they can to take control of their assets, and have the money now.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like the same thing about when we talk about joining finances. If you're not on the same page with someone, then you probably shouldn't be with them.
Yeah. And
In this case, like as a parent, I wouldn't share if it's hard to recognize that your own kids are being.
it is nuanced in the sense that there are conditions where an aging parent isn't of all their faculties, right?
Well,
So
and that's why my initial instinct is to share the information so that as they
yeah,
age, like we can
like in
all
a
be on the
view
same page.
only sharing
Yes.
situation, like, review the accounts, but they don't have access to them.
How about awareness, not control?
Yeah, so they can monitor for theft or wonky expenses. And then, so I wrote down a couple things. So you do what you need to do for legal purposes in terms of durable power of attorney, in terms of
Yeah.
making sure your children can access it in case you are not of faculties and stuff like that. But the key point in this is you may want to incorporate a trusted third party, such as an accountant or a financial advisor, as a reviewer.
Yeah.
Because, it is not a likely scenario, and if that's the case, then it's an easy job for that third party.
By the way,
So,
so let me give a quick example of what that looks like from my perspective. We just had a client pass away last week.
mhm,
A client I'd worked with for many years, and I had talked to the daughter once. Had never met her in person,
mhm,
but at least she knew who I was.
mhm.
So she was able to reach. That's how I found out that he passed away.
Wow.
So the daughter reached out and said, "I want you to know, Dad passed away." Like, okay. And of course, she had a million questions because it's a very stressful time and
Yeah.
emotional, and she's not in state like he was, and all
Mhm.
this stuff. Um, but fortunately, she knew who to call. And then
Yes.
we had a conversation. I let her know what we need to do, what we don't need to do right now. Most importantly, what she doesn't need to worry about. Um, and it was a big relief for her.
Mhm.
And I can then feel like I'm still doing right by my client who passed away by making sure his daughter is not stressed out. I've held a lot of meetings now over the years with clients of mine who are now aging and their kids
Mhm.
or their beneficiaries, whether it's kids, nephews, nieces, whatever it is. And the value there isn't to like, hey, open up the books and let them know this is all the stuff. It's literally making sure that they know that who I am. So
Mhm.
that if I notice, and this has sadly happened recently, where I've noticed one of my clients is kind of slipping a little, right?
Mhm.
Memory isn't as good, reactions aren't as good. Well, now I can have a conversation with the child
Mhm.
who lives on the other side of the country to let them know, hey, I met with dad the other day. I don't know if you've talked to him lately. He feels a little forgetful,
Mhm.
right? And now, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a doctor, but that child was not aware of that. And they're
Yeah.
like, I talked to dad. And I hadn't really noticed that. I'm like, well, it might just be me. Might just been a tough day, but
Yeah.
just be a little more aware of it. And let's kind of pay attention to this together.
Mhm.
And that child just knowing who I am and us being able to have that conversation
Yeah.
is an incredible advantage to that family
Mhm.
as that client ages.
Yeah. So again, not joining accounts and not all that stuff, but making
No.
sure that it's all handled and handled appropriately by
And
all parties.
And let me take a beat because you said joining accounts. Um, there are occasions, and a lot of them, where it does not make sense to have a child on the same account. Not just
Oh.
emotionally and what if they're spendthrift and all that stuff, but like functionally, an investment account. If you have an investment account that, a non-retirement account that is stocks, mutual funds, bonds,
Mhm.
whatever,
Mhm.
putting a child on the account is actually hurts the tax consequences
Oh,
when you
really?
pass. Yeah, so let's say I have a stock, an account with $1 million of I don't know AT&T stock, um, but the cost of what I paid for it was 200,000. So now I have all these gains, and I don't want to sell it because I don't want to pay the taxes on it. If I die and transfer that account to our child upon my death, she gets a step up in the cost basis,
Yeah.
meaning she gets it at the current value, the $1 million. If she sold it all that day, zero taxes. If I have her name on the account and I pass away, she gets the same purchase price I had. If she were to sell it that day, she would owe taxes on all of the gains.
Oh,
So there
so
are actually a lot of financially relevant
yeah,
reasons not to add your kid to
as an
the
account
account
holder,
as an
but keep
account
her
holder,
on there as a
as the
beneficiary.
beneficiary or transfer on death or payable on death,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like we've talked about.
So I have fun facts about joining accounts with your
Because we talked
spouse.
about greedy kids, we talked
Yeah, we
about
kind
yeah,
of
I
got
know
really
this
sad.
maybe wasn't like the most bubbly thing, but it's functional.
All
What's our
right.
fun fact?
Married couples who merge finances may be happier and they do stay together longer. And it is about, they have reported, this is according to an Indiana University study, their higher relationship quality. Um, and it is just believed that they have shared goals and they have practiced communication in those things. And couples with separate accounts view financial decision making as more of an exchange or a tit for tat.
That is 100% what I've
Like, well,
seen.
I'm paying the electric bill.
Yeah, and I'm paying this, or yeah,
Yeah.
or oh, you spent a lot on Amazon this month, but some of that might have been like functional household stuff, or well, yeah, but you spent a lot of money doing this,
Yeah. You
and
can't.
it's like no, we spend the
Yeah.
money,
Yes,
we are spending
exactly.
it.
So you have a higher chance of a successful relationship when you join accounts. However, that is not the trend in the United States. That's
Oh,
right. I went to the US Census Bureau. You know,
you love the Census Bureau.
I love all the facts. So there is an uptick without
Did you
any,
say uptink?
I don't know what I said. The share of couples without any joint bank accounts rose from 15% in 1996 to 23%.
Why? Why would that?
Well, they believe I read the whole study and it was kind of dense, but they believe it has to do with people getting married later. So you
Okay.
establish you have a longer run by yourself, so you feel more established individually, and it is harder to join bank accounts at that point.
Okay.
Um, so just because it's hard doesn't mean you shouldn't do it.
I will say that even later in life, let's say, you're widowed or divorced, especially if you're receiving benefits from an ex or someone who passed away,
There's always exceptions.
there's reasons maybe not to even get married functionally, right?
Yeah.
And there's maybe reasons to keep some finances separate, but still having that joint account where all of the joint
Yeah, that was no
expense.
joint account at all.
Yeah,
It's
that is wow.
23% of couples, they're
Yeah.
heterosexual couples. So, but the bottom line is couples who share bank accounts are more successful in their relationship and their finances. So,
Look at us.
wow. We're
We're
setting it up for success, babe.
man, aren't we the shining example of no, I just
We're
but
typical.
but yeah, I think and you mentioned it like later in life. I think to argue the other side, for people that are joining forces, or getting married, living together with somebody earlier in life, it is literally the easiest time to do that. And I would argue you're in the foundational stages of those relationships, getting good habits now, right?
Mhm.
Join forces now, be on the same page now
Start practicing the language of we and our.
of we and our.
Really makes a difference when you're discussing hard topics. This is our income and these are our bills.
I remember when you left the workforce, everybody was like, "Well, how are you going to do that?" And like you leaving the workforce wasn't,
Yeah,
yeah,
Nick's really great. He's like, "Oh, this is our income." And then I jointly say like, "We spent this much at the grocery."
yeah.
It
I
works
haven't
both
been to the grocery
ways.
store in so long; it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
And so please don't leave me. I wouldn't even know how to shop for my own groceries. But it is the case, and it's something that people have gotten so it's mine, it's yours, it's this, it's that, and that feels not even like a good business. I wouldn't talk to a business partner that
Yeah.
way. Like it's mine, it's yours is not a good way to build any kind of friendship relationship, let
Yeah.
alone a marriage that God willing, we live long enough. I get to be married with, to you for a very, very long
We get
time.
to share our
And
income
and
and
we
our bills.
yeah, and then we get to have our experiences and we get
Yeah.
to do this. So so yeah, I feel like those that are on the fence about commingling finances, you there's ways you can do it without it being 100%, right? We like we said, we were married once before. We had a reason to keep some separate accounts.
But we know about those accounts.
We know
They're
about the
not
accounts.
secret accounts.
No, we know the amount that's in the accounts.
Yeah.
We know, and we put the bulk of our income in the joint account
Mhm.
to make sure that we had our joint savings going in there, we had our joint expenses. Everything is joint at that point.
Mhm.
Um, and because of that, again, it's a financial thing. Yeah, you'll financially be more successful, but marriages last longer. People are generally happier in those types of relationships. So why give yourself look, life is hard enough. Why give yourself another annoying friction point, especially with the person that you love, that you want to spend the rest of your life with?
Yeah.
It's a completely easy thing to do. And I've seen it personally. The studies show it. You will be happier and you will be more successful. So get off your butt and do it. So any other
Wow.
feedback on the topic?
Nick Russell, Cupid,
Cupid, yeah.
financial
Yeah.
Cupid.
Happy Valentine's Day. Get off your butt and join finances with the person you love.
All right. I think that sums it up. And so Nick, where can people learn more about their finances
About how I
and
feel about finance
how
and
much
romance.
Nick's yeah.
Finance and romance at
Wow.
sunrisewealthadvisors.com.
ROImance.
ROImance. I really
Return.
like that, by the way. That was really cute. We're also on all social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. We're trying to, as we're rolling to 2026, make sure that we have more information out there for people. We've had a lot of demand for, topics. So if there's anything that you want more information on, we have a lot of one pagers and white papers and things that we've worked on, with about this topic or others. Let us know. Feel free. We'll get that information out to you. In the meantime, I love you, and I love our joint life, our joint venture together. So thank you for everything you do. Thanks for doing this with me, um, because this was something that you could have easily said, "No, figure that out, Nick. You got it. You're great." And I love that we're doing this together.
All right.
So
I love
thank
you
you.
too.
All
We
right.
love all of you too.
Yes. So thank you for listening. Um, we're here for you, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Nick and Becky. Looking forward to your next podcast. And thank you for listening to today's Can I Retire Now podcast. Until next time, for Nick and Becky, I'm RJ Malik.